Start the recording, for God's sake.
It's already recording. We just haven't started the episode.
I can do that again. I've done this 100 times.
I do have
everybody I know about this movie.
all of this is recorded, though.
Welcome to TFCC, everybody.
I think that's your intro, Joe.
Fucking hell. Okay, Noah. I don't even know where to go with this. I was gonna have like this whole bit, Noah, about me talking about like eating my words because
have I thrown you off your flow?
Yeah, you have a little bit. But if we all remember, I guess we're just doing this. Usually we introduce the guests after the intro, but I guess we're just doing this. If everyone remembers, last episode, Adam and Mike came in and very, very confidently off the bat were like, "This is gonna be the best episode of TF. So this is gonna be the #1 episode." And I was very confident that it would not be. And it took less than 72 hours for this to be the biggest episode of TFCC. But it was just really, really funny how confident you guys were that this is the best. And I was like, this is not going to be the best.
I've been
and
saying
it's so
this for
very quickly
7 years.
Mike has been
letting you on this
his
show.
shot, like
Mhm.
Babe
I've been
Ruth.
sitting there like this, and nobody was watching.
How long
all
has
right.
the show been going?
How long has our show been going?
Yeah.
Our show's been going for 6 years now.
Whoa.
We've been doing this
This is a
since
project.
2019.
Where's
I've
the
been Babe
time
Ruth calling
gone?
my shot.
Shit.
But how does everyone think this episode is going to do?
Good. Very good.
Sequels don't usually do as well as the first one,
The
guys.
sequel's always better than the original, I always say.
Judgment.
Ghostbusters? Need a
Fuck
sequel.
off.
When I was
Baby?
5, that shit banged. Like,
I recently watched Ivan Reitman's Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, and it
Oh
made
my
me want to
God.
kill myself.
What about Twins 2? Was
Wait,
there Twins 2?
no, wait. I have the most amazing
there
twin
could
story.
be.
Noah,
So
you're gonna
what's
love
the
this
twin
especially.
story?
So Noah is a big fan of my dad.
Yes.
When Noah was down for my wedding, he stayed in like a room connected to my parents' room. Like Noah hung out with my parents a lot last year.
I did.
But my dad was running to be his union president at work a few years back with one of his coworkers. And so he came to me and he's like, "We want to do a Photoshop of us on like a famous movie poster and put it up around so everyone can." So it's like that was like their campaign poster around the factory, and they wanted to be photoshopped on Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito for Twins. He wanted me to make them this poster.
Do you like that movie, Joe?
No, I don't like that movie.
Okay.
But that is so fucking funny that my dad just came to me and he's like, "Do you know literally it was like late at night. I remember I got home. I was working at the movie theater in high school and I got home and he was like sitting in the kitchen waiting for me, like some kind of mafia don. He's like,
Joe,
"You know the movie
have a
I
Twins?"
got this idea.
Literally, he's like, "Do you know the movie Twins?" He's like, "I need you to find this idea." And then their
It's a good
slogan, their running slogan for this election was Tier 1, Tier 2. Maybe it's time to try something new.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Pretty good. Also,
That's pretty good.
That's my
Please-
Twins.
baseline of work. Go
Yeah.
unions.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I work
but
for a
I don't
union
need to get
now.
political.
No, I'm with you. I work for
So,
them now. They
okay,
pay me
well,
money.
This is how we'll kick off the episode properly, which is that because of the subject matter of multiple of these movies and because Noah begged for it, we're gonna lift the politics rule for this one. Adam,
this
do
one?
not get carried away.
I thought that was for the other episode.
We're gonna do it for the other episode. Thanks for spoiling that. We're gonna do it
Yeah.
for the other episode too.
Whoa, okay.
We're not
We have-
doing a full politics episode yet, Adam, but if we do, you have first dibs as the guest.
I've just finished watching every single movie with a depiction of a president. So
I was wondering why I kept seeing that on Letterboxd.
yeah, so I've
seen
just
the
finished a
spreadsheet.
massive project. So if you are doing something political, even if just as like a brief guest, it's been my most recent area of cinematic study. So don't please.
If we do one, we'll bring you on. Noah has been begging for one for years.
I just really want us all to watch Bedtime for Bob.
I can be very objective.
Hey, let's roll the intro. Let's do it.
Do we have a theme song yet?
Noah, yeah, we do have a theme song, but I'm gonna ask Noah to take that again without Adam coughing, just so I have a clean cut of it.
Roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to 21st Century Cinema. It's the podcast about film and the film industry. I'm one of your hosts, Joseph Delavecchia. And joining me today in his pup hat and Hendrix shirt, it's Noah Shepard. Very simple, very straightforward. Noah, how are you?
I'm representing the Rockers today. I would really want to date this episode, but I won't.
I don't know how to interpret that. Speaking of things I don't know how to interpret, he sends me very confusing memes that I still have nightmares about. It's Mike Polak. Mike, welcome back to the show.
That was me?
That was you.
Okay. I mean, fair enough, I guess.
You sent me that pregnant Pepe one? I don't...
It's
No,
Crazy
that was
Frog.
Crazy Frog.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
Because
guys.
to the Joker, Crazy Frog is just a normal frog.
Exactly, and their love is beautiful.
Move on.
And also joining us today from a hotel room in the middle of nowhere. Is he on the run? Is he hacking someone? Or is he on vacation? We'll never know. It's Jonathan Adam Van Nest. Adam, welcome back to the show.
Hi.
So as we talked about before, we did an episode about 6 months ago with you two about B movies. And it was a great success. We had a lot of fun. I think honestly one of the best episodes we have done on the show. But we decided we wanted to do a sequel. We talked about more B movies to do at the end of that episode, including one that we're going to talk about today, the infamous Governor Gabbi. We appreciate you guys being back here. I want to talk first about these four movies, just kind of in general. If you guys were to compare these four movies to the group of the three movies we did last time, which one did you have more fun with?
Last time.
These ones by several orders of magnitude. I really...
I would agree with
like that
these
these
ones.
were all B movies.
Okay,
And also the profound difference between each selection made
That
for
is- yeah.
really just a roller coaster
Mhm.
of feelings. And I think that I really like these ones.
Now,
I'm going
Okay,
to
go ahead,
say the bad is worse, but the good is better.
Thank
One of
perfect
these
answer.
movies I genuinely enjoyed, like,
same.
not for, like, the shitty reasons I enjoyed Kill Squad. Like, I genuinely enjoyed and would rewatch again without just laughing at it the entire time.
Agreed.
Okay,
and
same.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping we're all on the same page about which
We
one
are
it is.
obviously on the same page.
it's definitely there's only one that
There's
people can
one.
legitimately
It's one
obviously-
acceptable movie here.
It's obviously Sweet Movie. No, I'm not kidding. But yeah, we watched four movies. They are Sweet Movie, Devil's Story, Theater of Blood, and Governor Gabbi. This is like Governor of Gabby and Governor Gabby. These are the four B movies that we watched. We all have different thoughts. Every single one of us picked a movie this time. Last time Noah didn't have a movie selection, but Noah did come in this time with one. So we're going to break down all of these right now. We're going to start off with some log lines, let each of our hosts or co-hosts break down their specific movie, how they want to, and then open the floor up to discussion. So starting off, we're going to start off very strong, very bizarre, and very surreal with a movie called Sweet Movie, which was chosen by Adam. And so the IMDb logline, I'm just going to read here really quickly, Adam, and then the floor is yours, is after winning the Most Virgin contest, Miss Canada is married to a rich milk tycoon, but she quickly flees the marriage to experience the world around here full of sweetness and anarchy.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good breakdown. I mean, it completely ignores the B plot about a Marxist child murderer astride a boat through some part of Europe. But essentially,
Amsterdam.
thank you. Sweet Movie is a very politically charged and debauched B movie with a low budget and a absolutely chaotic production, which absolutely shines through with the final product. The A plot, if you will, with Miss Canada represent, is entirely unresolved because the main actress quit due
Halfway
to
through.
being made to touch a penis. And I think that a very interesting common thread with this movie is ideology. Both stories have a lot to say about politics and ideology and sexuality. And even though it takes a lot of very clear positions on political and philosophical theory, it's a very unethical production. So in that, you've got a maelstrom of contradiction, a roller coaster of a film where you can see nothing coming. There's a golden penis. There is sugar sex, literally, and defecation. I am a student of deranged films, as I've called them, movies that have unethical productions and explore ideas that are perverse and vile. And Sweet Movie is just one of the many interesting and in some ways inexplicable stops on my journey through that area of study. And I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, because of the deranged movies that I've seen, Sweet Movie is easily one of the most baffling, but also entertaining.
I will fully, as I messaged our little thread about this, I did not finish Sweet Movie because I have and Adam, you could not have known this when you picked this movie. I have a very specific aversion to us, which is I really hate sticky food, anything. Like, my nightmare is having honey poured in my hair. And I don't know why, but oh my God, was this terrible for me.
So like
You know,
shit and the vomit though.
I'll be honest.
No, I didn't make it
Rob
that
and I
far.
were certain that what you were talking about was the poop.
Yeah, so I didn't even see any poop. I saw the Spaniard, I believe he's Spanish, have
Mhm.
sex on a dinner table,
Yep.
and then I tried to gut it out for a little bit longer, and then we went right into pedophilia, and then I was like, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when that went off. Now,
Yep.
I will say,
This episode is not able to be monetized, by the way. Just putting that out there right off the bat.
Sorry.
not
Not.
an unentertaining movie. It's I wasn't I turned it off based on being able to stomach through it, not because I was bored.
I'll take it.
Raven. Like, up there. It was a great review.
Um,
It was boring.
I'll go next. Okay, so immediately the premise of like the Miss Canada and everything felt very post-truth, like back in like the 70s or 80s whenever this movie was released. But like
74.
could kind of be like a real thing today almost, or like something that we're going towards. I don't know. I was just like the most virgin contest. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of vibing with like the storyline and everything. Like, I think this has a promise of a plot, is how I felt in the beginning. And then you get into the second narrative. And I was very confused by this narrative, and like, how are these going to like converge and become the same thing? And they never will. But both were very bold choices. And I was like, okay, I was interested in this movie. I really was. Yes, it's low quality, but kind of like other movies that we're going to talk about too later on, is that like they still have interesting ideas and still have something to offer, I felt. Like Noah, I was very turned off by the pedophilia. I got to the urination, which I believe precedes the defecation, and then stopped. That was my cutoff point. I have here in my notes, I don't know why this is in my notes, by the way. I forget what this is from. Maybe you guys can help me piece together, but I just have the two narrative choices are bold. You're the prettiest virgin and you're for sale. Hey, you want to be a communist? I think that was just meant to be a bit I was going to do, but that's in my notes.
Those are lines spoken.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were so many different things happening in this movie, and I was like, what the fuck? And then when I looked into the production and found out that the main actress had quit, and then also the actress who plays the communist, I don't know if you guys know this, she was exiled from Poland for 7 years because of her role in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking nuts, this movie. And then I went down an even deeper rabbit hole, because I'm like, okay, I didn't finish this movie, but at least let me like understand what happens. There's like a cult following that genuinely believes that this movie is like good and has something intelligent to say, which I do not agree with.
I mean, let's hear what Mike has to say. I won't interject yet.
There was part of me that at the end, like, I kind of felt like how Joe felt a little bit, but then like there was part of me that also wanted to acknowledge, like, I feel like they were trying to like say something with it, like politically, all that stuff, but like maybe I'm just not the guy to get it. The one thing I will say is I did look more into it. So the director of the movie ran the like art commune, whatever you want to call it, that was like the end scene, like all the people eating and shitting and pissing. All of those people were part of a commune.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the comments. I think I read on Wikipedia that he got arrested for some sort of sex crime at some point.
I read that one of the commune guys came out and like spoke out against the movie a few years later. I don't know though about that arrest thing, if that is true.
I could be wrong. I will look into it.
Yeah, you look into that.
Or at some point, because I don't want to say that and
Yeah.
it not be true, but
We're almost certainly all dead, so
it was, but yeah, I agree with you, Mike, to a degree. Like it's really insane. What I also thought was insane too is that like all of this stuff was like they weren't like okay, like acting, quote unquote, but like the shit that you're seeing happening, pun intended, is actually happening. This isn't like props or stage. Like this is actually fucking happening. It's
a common
nuts.
theme in a lot of the deranged movies that I saw was sort of one toe dipped into documentary, one toe dipped into reality. A lot of the time, these perverse directors, these people who have a camera and are able to assemble money and the people they consider performers, they always incorporate their real life. In the case of this one, their real cult. You know, and what's fascinating about Sweet Movie, Joe, did you say something along the lines of you don't think it's saying anything?
No, but also I didn't finish it, to be fair. I didn't finish it.
Who finished it?
Mike.
Mike
Thank
finished
you.
it.
also,
You know what? You're a trooper, because that one's not easy. But
I read into it more just because I don't want to fuck anybody over that doesn't need to be fucked over. The person who I was thinking of was actually the person who ran the commune. He
Mhm.
wasn't a director. In the 90s, he went to prison for drug charges and sexual offenses with minors, and then was released after 7 years, and then set up a similar commune in Portugal. But he's dead.
yeah,
Okay.
that's nice.
So just to even things out there.
You know,
Don't leave you hanging.
when we were setting up the first B movie episode, I ran past Joe like this. I was like, hey,
Lost to me bag one.
yes. And what I'm doing now, if you will, because I haven't really had much of a forum where I can discuss my deranged movies. It's not very easy to talk about these. And even here, you know, I'm getting like a disdainful glare from Mike. But the thing
No,
is,
Ben, please. Dude, I'm here for it, if I'm being
I
honest.
appreciate it. You know,
Like I
So-
said, my genuine takeaway from it was I feel like it's saying something, but I just might not be smart enough to get it.
and honestly, I don't really know what it's saying either. Because on the one hand, you believe it at first to be endorsing the tenets of communism, of Marxism. But the main communist Marxist is a pedophilic child murderer. The sweet barge that she has, she kills kids on it. Spoilers to you two who haven't seen it. But
I did.
I read the rest.
Yeah.
Of,
And her
I did-
boyfriend guy that
So-
was just there.
so
that she
there
was.
seems to be something critical when your character who exists to parrot these ideological points is committing these objectively atrocious acts. So trying to find the pulse of this movie and what it actually thinks about what is saying is a very interesting area of exploration. And Naked Fear is like shallow waters. Sweet Movie, we're getting a little bit lower. And if we do a third one, I probably won't do Angel's Melancholy, because if we can't endure sticky things, I don't think we can endure everything that's in Angel's Melancholy. But
you know, I'm pretty good with bodily functions. For some reason, it's this really weird thing about specifically
Please.
food.
If we make a third B movie episode, please do not encourage. I'm not watching the Colostomy Bag movie. You three can watch it and
Is
discuss
that
it.
the
All I'm
Colostomy Bag
saying.
movie?
I mean, yeah, it's called Angel's Melancholy. Check it out. It's 3 hours, German. But I
I mean,
I think that I think that Sweet Movie there's something artful about it. And honestly, from the way you guys were talking in the group chat leading up to this, I anticipated being completely berated for this selection. I was rehearsing my defense with Rob with each of your projected attacks. So I appreciate all of your respect for my purely academic interest in this
I can
awful
definitely
movie.
see why you picked it. It is not a boring movie. It's
No.
a very interesting watch. It's a hard watch, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be educated that this movie exists, because this is definitely like one of the wildest things. Like, you're ever like in a group of cynicrits or just like people talking about movies where you can just pull out this random fucking movie, especially with one of my facts to lay out, which is that this movie has a Criterion spine. This movie is a part of the Criterion collection, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah, truly. I personally think that the movie is most remarkable as a piece of Canadian cinema. Canadian movies are, I think, and maybe you guys will agree, ferociously unremarkable.
For the
And
most part, yeah.
Sweet
Yeah.
Movie is remarkable.
Absolutely.
It's not nothing.
You can
It's
make
not
remarks about
nothing.
it. That's,
No.
yeah.
I've seen some bad Canadian movies. This is not like something I would rope in with that. This is like artistic and it has.
And if we're to get even more local, Niagara Falls.
There you go, Joe.
Adam is more local to Niagara Falls than me. Adam actually is from the
Oh.
Falls. I'm from the city outside the Falls.
Whoa, Buster Brown.
You just dox. You guys doxing each other?
I can cut that, Adam, if you
No,
like.
I'm from Newmarket originally. So
Are you actually? Didn't know that.
I'm not Niagara.
Oh, okay.
Filth.
When
I'm not
I
as
met
crazy.
Adam was living in the Falls.
That's fair.
I'm no stranger to Niagara Falls. I go there to eat steak and gamble once a year.
Yeah.
I believe you said that last podcast.
I do.
And that's one of the first things Mike said to me in college when we met, and Mike found out I was from St. Catharines and was just like,
Really?
"Oh, I come down here. I go to Niagara Falls a lot. Yeah, to eat steak and gamble." And
Steak
I'm like,
and gamble, man.
"Yeah." It was. I believe it was at the pub across the street when we were all there at like that long table in front of the jukebox thing. I believe that's when you said that to me.
Steak and- That's all I'm about, really.
Mhm.
Get your money up.
Yeah.
Not for everyone.
Does anyone else have anything interesting to say about Sweet Movie? Because
Let me just look at my notes here.
Yeah, actually, I have
Oh,
one thing
the
I
wor-
really want to highlight.
lay it down.
Is it the line "the world is filled with corpses" and then it cuts to a 3-minute montage of corpses?
No, great moment. But my peak moment of this movie is the old lady table-topping that woman into the pool. That you could not know how hilarious I find table-topping as well. I think that's the funniest thing a pair of people can do to someone, and the fact that that's this movie is where I see its on-screen representation. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
There are some so bad it's good moments in this, and a lot of that is thanks to the editing, because we get the replay on that, and it's mwah.
Fantastic.
The
Also,
shot of the guy carrying the girl up the side of the giant milk jug.
Yeah. That whole scene kind of stuck out to me in like a lot of ways. Like a lot of the writing, like when she was getting mad at the bodyguard that was like kidnapping her essentially. Like I have a few of the lines written down. It's just all like weird contradictory, like back and forth. Like she calls him Hitler and then she calls him like a Jew in the same sentence, which that feels like it's not both. And then right after that, it's like, you fascist pig, you dirty commie. I'm like,
So if I were to guess like what her journey was supposed to be if she didn't like flee in terror, which who can blame her? I'm pretty sure that like that was meant to demonstrate that she's so politically a virgin, and through a series of experiences, which I guess being doused in chocolate would have something to do with, she would become like enlightened. It was supposed to be like an innocence to experience thing that they couldn't finish. So
I get it now. I actually got it as soon as you said that. I'm on your side. Like No sarcasm. I sound
No
like
one has ever said those words to me.
I get it now.
I've actually never heard someone speak at me. I'm on your side, and it's incredible.
It's that meme where it's the change my mind meme, and it's just Sweet Movie has something to say, and it's just Mike and Adam behind the table.
I think it's the Danny DeVito scene where from Always Sunny where he's crying watching the play. I
get it now. I mean, no, that actually, like, just saying that again. Maybe I was too stupid because I was doing laundry while I was watching it.
Oh, what the hell!
I was pretty fried. I have 2 days off a week, and I have a lot of laundry to do.
Well, thanks. You know what? You finished.
I gave it my undivided attention.
You finished it. Your attention was divided by weed and laundry, but still.
I paused the movie and I went and I did and then I came back and I kept watching.
Oh, that doesn't count. That doesn't count as dividing your attention. You're still giving
Rob,
attention.
I've been telling Rob about Sweet Movie for years, and I'm like, I'm gonna put on Sweet Movie just
for context. Rob is Adam's partner.
Yeah, my fella.
Mm-hmm.
And the poor guy, he just suffered, and like we all did too. So you guys are troopers, and next time, if there is a next time, I will up the ante slightly, but I'll make sure. If there may be poo, but there won't be anything sticky, and that's not as perverse as it sounds.
Thank you so much.
Is it just sticky food? Just so I know.
It's like sticky food on bodies.
But it's not like tar.
No. Weirdly, tar is. It's specifically, you know that feeling you get when you get like maple syrup on your hands when you just touch the bottle and that sort of stickiness. My biggest fear is that's going to get in the hair of my body, and that's terrifying to me. And to watch them
shave you.
Yeah, exactly. And to watch them actually willfully do it, that's fucked up.
How would you feel about like the last scene with the main actress when she is like in a commercial and she's just being doused in chocolate?
Want to die.
It's really gross to watch. It's weird, especially after like all the actual gross stuff. You don't think, a woman being doused in chocolate is gross, but it's on a sensory level, it's disgusting.
Exactly. I think it's a sensory thing. I saw the stills of the chocolate, and that was enough.
Or is it sort of like Uncut Gems, where like the whole movie is just like an anxious roller coaster ride, and then Adam Sandler dies, and everyone's just like, I can breathe.
No, the chocolate's too much.
I love that movie.
Great analogy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next film, which was Mike's pick.
Yeah.
I'm so relieved.
Our next film is Mike's pick. Mike, I have so many questions. Can't wait to ask you about. But this movie is called Devil's Story. Now, I was going to read the logline that I found on IMDb, which is crazy. But Mike, you, before we started recording this, started to recant your own version of the logline, which was actually sounding pretty good. And we all want to hear this.
Yes.
So Mike, please give us the plot summary of this movie.
So just for the context of why I can do this, I've seen this movie of my own accord 3 times. And I've watched YouTubers review it before, which is how I found the movie. This movie is about 2 French people pretending to be from Florida, as their license plate says. They go on a trip through the countryside. Their car breaks down, and while they're doing that, the wife in the scenario has a full-on mental breakdown, where to the point where she is on the ground screaming, saying, "I'm staying here, I want to go home," in the same breath, as if that makes sense. They can get the car to work a little bit, so they drive to Florida's best 17th century castle to stay the night, because apparently it's a motel. They meet an old couple. One of the people there is a man dressed like a hunter, like fucking Elmer Fudd in head-to-toe army gear. The woman has a panic attack. I don't even know her name, if I'm being honest. I don't think they ever say it.
I don't think so either.
I don't know her name either.
She has a panic attack and decides to run off to the car. Doesn't work. gets in the back seat, puts on a raincoat, fucking runs, starts fucking running for some reason. There's a horse. The guy at the hotel hates that horse for some reason because he's really loud. So he decides as the B plot that he's going to go out and kill the horse. That's the B plot. That just happens throughout the entire movie. It's back and forth because the horse is involved in other stuff in the A plot, but he still comes back to a random field so the old hunter can shoot at him a bunch and sometimes just swing his shotgun at him. And he's not really doing it. He's like going like a lot.
Hearing this put into words is like a
Amazing
fever dream because I
feel like I didn't watch this movie.
Yeah,
but I did.
I'm reliving it in my head right now. It's crazy.
And it's like, that happened. At the beginning, we meet a monster who is just like a guy that looks like he's a pig demon, and he's wearing a Nazi outfit.
For some reason,
a spike glove, and he's like punching in the back of the head. And he also has a shotgun. He lives with his mother in the woods, and for some reason, they want to, I guess, revive their daughter who's dead. So they have a body, and they're going to put it in a coffin with her. And also, they told the old man, the hunter, told them a story in the hotel about a boat that crashed and is now in the mountain. And then when the woman who is just running away from the fucking horse gets to the graveyard that they're at, they decide they're going to put her in the grave as a sacrifice, I guess. And then the ship that they talked about bursts through the fucking mountain, and a mummy pops out.
Yes.
A sarcophagus is there, and a fucking mummy pops out because the boat was coming back from Egypt. That makes sense. And then I guess the horse fucking like kicks the pig guy in the head, and then like the woman runs until it's morning, and the mummy and like I guess the daughter who's alive and is now married to the mummy are like slowly walking after her, and they catch up to her. And I guess it's all a dream. I think it's all a dream. And then like another couple shows up and they're like, "Our car broke down. Can we stay at your castle?" And like the hunter you thought died while hunting, like got killed by the mummy, he's there again. So what the fuck does that tell you?
I thought it was like a supernatural, like Groundhog Day sort of scenario. Like it's
Yeah,
just gonna endlessly repeat.
Movies from them, especially like B horror movies, love to do the "here we go again" shit. I don't know why. It's like their favorite staple. But that synopsis made me cry with
I was
laughter.
really wondering how Mike was gonna tie the boat in. I was just like waiting. I was honestly hoping
There's a paper mache boat that crashes through a paper mache mountain.
The lore is deep with Devil Story. There's a lot of moving pieces.
There's a
no
lot this movie
devils.
is trying to tell you, but never tells you.
There's never a devil.
The devil shepherd is unseen, but
The
clearly
devil is the person behind the camera.
yeah,
See, this is why the reason I picked this movie, I kind of wanted to avoid. Last time the movie I picked was a movie I learned about through Red Letter Media on YouTube. This movie I also learned about through them, and I kind of wanted to avoid doing that again because it felt like I can't pick for myself. But the reason I picked it is because I own the Blu-ray of it. And the reason I bring that up is because the only place that sells this is a video store in Toronto that produces, they're called Vinegar Syndrome. They buy reels and they like upgrade them to like Blu-ray quality, and they make like brand new everything for them, and they rebox and sell them on Blu-ray. They do a lot of good shit. I'm very clearly a big fan. Rudy Ray
That's
Moore.
wicked.
Because Devil Story is public domain, right?
I don't know about that.
That's
I just
why
know
it's
that
all like Scooby and shit.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
But
I think so.
the reason I even bring any of that up is because when I went to buy the movie, I put it down on the counter. The guy who works for the store, mind you, none of the people that work at that store, to my knowledge, are just like low-level like randoms that they hired off the street. They're like guys that have been there for years and like know what they're doing. He looked at me and just went, "Have you seen this movie?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "And you want to watch it again?" Like, "Yep." He's like, "You're sure you want to buy it?" Like, "Yeah, man." like, all right, whatever. I'm like, you guys fucking put this on Blu-ray. Why am I the asshole? Like,
What?
Okay.
Shut up
What's the
and
name?
make my money.
Yeah, what's the name of the store again? Let's shout them out again. That's actually really cool.
Vinegar Syndrome.
Vinegar Syndrome.
I was
Shout out
gonna
Vinegar
say-
Look
Syndrome.
for the little yellow leg.
Mike, the next time we get Noah in Ontario, which I don't know when that's going to be, but hopefully in the next few years,
I'm hoping.
we'll have to come up and visit you, and you have to take us to Vinegar Syndrome because this sounds like a place we need to go.
They're not open on Monday or Tuesday, and they open at 2:00. You gotta be fucking specific.
That's
Okay.
wicked.
So
That's hours I can fuck with.
yeah,
We'll plan accordingly in advance, but we will definitely have to take a trip, Noah, to see Mike and see this Vinegar Syndrome place because this sounds awesome.
Highly recommend it if you can.
But yeah, I'd love to dive in though with some thoughts, Mike. This was the first one that I watched, and then I stepped away from the B movies up until this week leading up to the episode. So I don't remember that much of this movie. It feels like a fever dream, but I'm gonna do my best here. So my first notes are about the opening sequence.
Fantastic.
So a lot of questions I have about this opening sequence never get answered. Like, who is the dead guy that is obviously not dead? Why is there a murderer in a German Nazi style jacket in Florida? Parentheses, this is so obviously not Florida.
I didn't even think about it as Florida while I was watching the whole time. I was like, you being like, why is he in Florida? I was like, oh, it's supposed to be Florida. That's not just a random thing.
I did love when he fucking bitch slaps with the spiked glove and then just keeps punching the body. I think that was excellent. Loved that. And then I do have a note just like scribbled in, none of this will ever be explained or come back to.
Everything.
Yeah, the guy with the demonic horse, the hunter, is my favorite. Like, God, that was he's my favorite part of the movie. I do love when she's running away. This is a little bit later on, but when she's running away and she just runs right into that hole. I love those. I rewound and watched that maybe 3 times.
I forgot the synopsis where he says that where it says that the hunter has unlimited ammunition for his shotgun because he shoots it like 500 times.
Yeah,
God, he just yeah.
It's a shotgun, man.
I do love that.
That's a common
This
movie
movie-
problem, though.
I do love that this movie, your last pick, Mike, which was Kill Squad, and also my pick as well for this one, Governor Gabby, all use really bad ADR. Love that. I believe there's also some bad ADR in Theater of Blood. My overall end quote about this movie was, the longer this movie went on, the more I gaslit myself into thinking I did acid.
I would like to share some thoughts. One thing, Devil Story, tidy 75 minutes.
It is.
Tidy,
Yeah.
tidy, tight 75. Gotta love it.
That's fair. Getting into the years.
I also want to shout out the fake slow motion effect where the leaves are very clearly blowing at normal speed, but all of the people are moving in slow motion in that opening sequence.
That's a talented director.
Listen, that's someone who could bring out the best in their performers. I also love how much they clearly love that like spurting blood effect because they would do it on every corpse and then zoom in on it every single time.
That has nothing to do with the tight 75 minutes, right? They just really liked that effect.
They used a lot of that's one thing for Devil Story and Theater of Blood. They used a lot of blood for these movies. Oh my gosh.
There's a cut from the gunshot still in this opening sequence where he shoots the woman next to the car, and there's a cut between her getting hit by the bullet and her dying where it's like she gets hit and then they cut to her falling on the car. Just what the editor fantastic. I like that the pig man has a theme song. That's really fun. I have a note here. Even the cat is ADR'd. Immediately followed up by love a mummy. Love a mummy. I will admit at one point I did fall asleep while watching this. No.
Who watched the movies here?
No, don't get me wrong. I rewound and watched it, but when I fell asleep, the man was shooting at the horse, and when I woke up, the man was still shooting at the horse, and I'm pretty sure I fell asleep for half hour. Like, it was not no time. But I went back. I watched the whole movie. Don't get me wrong. Also, I think one underrated part is he does box the horse too at one point. He squares up.
Good.
Just a fantastic pick. Yeah, like the fever dream, but there's just something about it that if I want to put on a movie to watch with a bunch of friends and make fun of it, this is what I'm putting on next.
It's hypnotic.
It
The horse.
really is.
Yeah.
Quick question for the group. What language did you guys watch this movie in?
English.
English. Okay, we all watched the English dub?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because apparently, and this is what I know from seeing a review that I looked into afterwards when I was doing all of my research on the Blu-ray, which we'll get into. The person who had talking about it had said they watched both versions, and that apparently the English dub is just super, super extra insane. So I was wondering if anybody had watched the French
Glad we
version.
had the better experience then.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if it's not super extra insane, it would just be shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Adam, go ahead. Your thoughts.
Oh, I watched it twice because I couldn't really believe what I'd seen the first time. I was just I was sober, but I was both beside myself, in awe. The words "worst movie of all time" are thrown around a lot. I've seen a lot of shoddy garbage in my day, but while this might not be the worst movie of all time that I've ever seen, it is the most annoying movie I've ever seen. The audio of Devil's Story, or as the French title is, Once Upon a Time, The Devil, it is so fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
The snarling of that Nazi pigman is like, if I had one word for this movie, it would be the horse. Like, God, it's just, it gets on your nerves, but you're also laughing when the jaw gets pulled off of the mummy. Somehow, one of the worst parts of the movie is just the hair. Like, it's just horrible. They're all
so ugly.
Yeah. It's really something else. And honestly, that can you hold up the Blu-ray one more time, please? Because I want to say that the poster for that is writing checks that the content cannot cash. That I saw that cover and was like, yes. And then I turned it on and I saw the snarling pigman emerge from the well or whatever, and it broke my heart. But at the same time, I'm gonna watch it a third time. I will show it to friends, because when people start to overstay their welcome and I want them to get lost, I'm gonna be like, let me show you Devil's Story.
If it makes it make any more sense, I don't know if this is original in any way, but this is like the outer shell that they gave you. On the inside, they gave what is usually like the original cover, so you can flip it if that's how you feel. That is the inside layer.
The outside cover is the French poster, Mike.
This is
That is the French theatrical release poster on the outside.
This is one of the many like shitty B, C, Z, old horror shitball movies where the best part about it is just the art associated with it.
Yeah.
Because those both go so hard.
Yeah.
When you watch it, God, the old man and the horse. There's probably a way that you could watch Devil's Story and spin some yarn about the futility of the human experience, but like, who's got time for that gymnastic? I'm glad now that I know about this documentary about it.
Yeah, so
allow me to talk about that, because I want to see that more than anything.
Yeah, so in Devil's Story, there's a lot of unanswered questions as to why is he wearing a Nazi jacket? What's the deal with the sister and the mummy? What? Why the horse? Just everything is a question that is unanswered. As we said, there's a lot of plot in this movie. This movie has a lot of plot, but not a lot of answers. And so, in trying to find answers to this, when I was making up the doc for this movie, for this episode, I came across a review for the Blu-ray that talked about a documentary on it called Once Upon a Time, Devil Story. It was made in 2011, and apparently it's this very high-quality, really well-shot produced 30-minute documentary that adds a lot of context and provides answers to a lot of questions. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to watch this Blu-ray review about the Blu-ray and find out what answers the Blu-ray provides. And the review didn't provide shit. So I don't know what the answers to these questions are. But then Mike shows up to the recording today and is like, yeah, I have the Blu-ray. And I'm like, Mike, have you seen the doc? Can you answer our questions? And Mike's like, no, I've never watched it. So we don't have answers to Devil's Story. But there is a Blu-ray, as Mike has already covered, which is one of my fun facts, that has a special documentary on it that was shot like 40 years later and that apparently can explain a whole lot of the shit in that film.
God, you need to
Makes you
know.
feel better.
Those
Yeah.
brave soldiers.
I have a answer.
Go ahead,
Do you want
please.
to know how many times they cut to the horse in the movie?
Yes, okay. So how many times they cut to the horse?
I have a guess.
Go,
Everyone
yeah, go
needs
ahead,
to
Noah.
guess.
46.
I'm going to say 82.
I'm going to say 70.
So in this 75 to 76 minute movie, sorry, Cat, they cut to the horse 96 times.
Holy
God.
Yeah.
shit!
And that's not counting like they're showing the horse and then like different angles of the horse. That's like showing something, hard cut to horse. I had a tally sheet and I watched and I did everything. That's more than a horse a minute.
See, that's the thing. You watch it and you think you're having a mental breakdown.
I can see half of it like going together because like there's some points where you like don't see the horse for 5 minutes and then it gets made up for a scene where it's just like pig guy, mummy, horse, pig guy, honey, like back to back to back to back to back.
There's a sleeper agent somewhere that Devil's Story activates, and the rest of us are just left in total confusion. And I hope that that's the conclusion of this.
That's the
documentary.
political tie-in to Devil's Stories, that it's actually meant to wake government sleeper.
'Cause just something about Nazi, mummy, horse, Nazi, mummy, horse, Nazi, mummy. It broke me.
What a rogues gallery.
And now you're on the run in some hotel room somewhere.
Devil Story did this to you.
That's why I'm on the run.
Oh my god. Does anybody have anything else they want to say about Devil's Story before we move on?
I think I'm good.
His name is the idiot's son, by the way. We didn't have to keep calling him a Nazi. They refer to him as the idiot's son multiple times.
If I feel like the Devil's Story was made by people who knew like the archetypes of the B exploitation horror genre at the time, were illiterate in the language of film, threw something together, and like there's
Rewarded.
something about Devil's Story which, if you're familiar with that era of filmmaking, you can recognize pieces of it, and especially with like the Nazi jacket, that just goes to show that they're incorporating motifs without any meaningful.
They just did it.
Yeah, it's just like, ooh, throw some Nazi exploitation in there, and there's something so like almost charmingly aimless about it. It's like a child made it, but
Yeah, I think you could like make that argument. There's a couple of scenes that could back that up. Like when like Mummy, when the mummy first shows up, it's like sarcophagus on the ground, and then it's like standing upright, and then the door opens, and then it's a very clearly green screen shot, and there is no background to the sarcophagus. It just opens the door, and it's just the wall behind it, or
Yeah.
like mountain.
that's a part of like, even though it made me want to die, Devil's Story has this childlike, just also just how it belabors everything. It's just like, you like the blood spurts, right? I'll show you more of the blood. It's
The
cute.
zoom.
It's cute.
The zoom.
Like, well, yeah, like or the scene in the beginning, like the person that's just like skipping through the woods. It's just like act natural, skip, whistle a bit, like.
Get brutally murdered by this pig guy.
Dude.
Boom, boom.
What a movie.
Alrighty. Moving on to our third film, Noah, your choice. You came in here, Noah, with Theater of Blood. Now,
Yes.
Theater of Blood follows a Shakespearean actor who takes poetic revenge on the critics who denied him recognition.
Yep.
Noah, would you like to take it away?
I would. I will say, this is an actually good movie.
This is a good movie.
This was the one I liked.
Genuinely really enjoyed it. We'll be watching it a whole bunch more. It's super charming. Definitely the highest quality of this batch.
Yeah.
Indubitably.
I would argue highest quality of all of them that we.
I think Jennifer's Body maybe has a little
I'm not
bit more
counting
on
Jennifer's
it.
Body.
But
Adam
maybe
will
that's
let
just
you
because
go.
it's not a B movie. But
Audience, wipe that episode from your memory. Only that part.
Yeah, wipe that
Retcon.
first section.
But yeah, Theater of Blood, man, what a movie. It's also, as a theater kid and Shakespeare nerd myself, there's definitely some personal love that I was always gonna like this movie, no matter how good it was. But I will run down my notes. Joe, you did a pretty good job summarizing it up. Basically, a theater actor has faked his suicide, specifically a hammy Shakespeare actor who the critics always blasted, fakes his suicide after not getting a Critics' Choice Award, and has decided to get revenge on all of them by killing them in the ways characters die in Shakespeare, specifically about the negative reviews they wrote for which show. Like, we open with the Julius Caesar mob killing. That is because the critic wrote negatively about his portrayal of Julius Caesar. But yeah, honestly, the biggest thing about it is Vincent Price is just magnificent. He is having so much fun.
He's a fucking diva.
What a treat of a performer to watch in this. Like, this is a heavyweight performance. Every Shakespeare line is so perfectly over the top. Every monologue, there's a flashback scene where it shows him not winning the award and then confronting the critics, and then his daughter shows up and he decides to leave in a huff, and he looks in the window from the balcony and recites the Hamlet monologue. And my God, what a perfect pacing of Shakespeare throughout this. I love it. Apparently, this is Vincent Price's favorite performance of his career, and it shows through, man. What a fun ass. It's just a fun movie. It's a fun performance. I really like it. It's perfectly camp. It's camp done right while still being grounded in a sense. Not like Rocky Horror Camp, you know what I mean? Like, there's still a level of grounding to it, but it nails it. I love that the audience is just a bunch of drunks. That's a really fun thing. I like that. I don't know why they needed to do that. Really like it. Yeah, I don't know. I will say it's always a jump scare when Shiloh shows up, or Shylock. You don't really see Shylock very much, for obvious reasons. But it was like, oh yeah, that's right. Merchant of Venice doesn't get put off much anymore. But yeah, I thought the humor in this is actually like pretty well timed. One of my favorite of jokes actually comes from the Merchant of Venice section, where he is weighing the pound of flesh and realizes he has too much on the scale, so he takes a little bit off and puts it back there. Really great joke. I think my only real complaint is there might be one or two too many critics for the pacing. Like, I think we get the gist by like critic. When you're at critic 4, you're like, all right, let's get to the last 2. But the kills are all really fun. I really want to shout out what is one of the best choreographed sword fights I've seen in like a long time.
Yeah, honestly,
It's
that was surprising.
Also, too, shout out for doing like Shakespeare deaths and choosing to do that in Romeo and Juliet and not like murder suicide at the very end, because that's where I thought it was going. Was that he was going to murder suicide at the very end by a poison capsule, but was not. I was pleasantly surprised by that.
I really like that there's a lot of references to some of Shakespeare's less popular stuff, like the fact that he does Troilus and Cressida, that he does Titus Andronicus, like stuff that is not the full mainstream. Really great. They don't even mention the Scottish play. Like, it's really well done that way.
Oh, Macbeth, the Scottish play.
Listen, man, I don't believe personally in superstition, but I'm associated too many with people who are. they will be very mad if I call it by its name. So usually the term is either you say Mackers or you say the Scottish play. But that's my little dose of pretension for today.
Whoa. Mackers?
Mackers is what they call it. It's one of them.
That one's new.
That's what I feel like Newfoundland also
fun.
calls McDonald's. Like, I'm going to Mackers.
No, that's either Mick Dicks or Rotten Ronnie's.
What a charming place.
We love it. We have fun here. But yeah, no, I don't. It's honestly, it's a little tough to talk about Theater of Blood without just gushing over it the whole time, because one thing I really like is they really do capture what is like something that you always see with Shakespearean theater specifically, which is people trying to have new takes on the way to do it. Like, I like that his characters, Vincent Price's characters and disguises, like the hairdresser, which is just a wild choice, but it's the type of shit you would see in community Shakespeare theater. So good. There's like some of these like adaptations of the deaths, like I was really worried when he talked about Othello, because one of the main things about Othello is racism, and the character of Othello is he's from Morocco, and he is not a white man from Morocco. This movie's kind of old. I was worried we were going to get not only Vincent Price doing a stereotypical Jew costume. I also thought we may have gotten Vincent Price in blackface, but we were good. We didn't do it because instead
England doing blackface.
Yeah. The fact that they made him Iago and he's tricking anyway, I can gush about this movie. I can gush about how it adapts Shakespeare, and also like that makes it sound like it might be a little bit boring. It's just a cool, fun thriller horror. Like it's just a nice dark comedy. I would show this to anyone.
Noah, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Did you see it before you recommended it for the podcast? Because you talk about like going into it, you were afraid there was going to be some racism.
Yeah. No, I didn't. So I went.
You recommended a movie to us you hadn't seen?
Exactly. So I went looking.
You didn't.
Noah hit a bullseye with this.
One.
So I went looking for, basically I wanted to look for something because we've had Mike, what was a Kill Squad. We've had our Kill Squad style B movies. We've had Naked Fear where they try to do something with a lower budget and like it kind of works, but there's some issues. We've also had the Governor Gabby where it's just like anyway,
the vanity project.
And now we've had Sweet Movie and stuff. So I wanted to go with something. Honestly, I was like, let's find a good B movie for us to watch. Not just an enjoyable B movie, but a good movie that just so happens to have a short budget. I think I found it. I did my research beforehand, but this was my first time watching it, and I will be watching it much more often.
Good luck finding anything to say after that, boys.
Honestly, I'll dive into some thoughts. 100%. I think also Theater of Blood was the last one that I watched. So I was very much, I'm like, either I've just watched too many very bad movies and this seems like gold, or this actually is something really special. And I do believe, upon reflection, it is very, very special. It's really great. In the opening scene, but was definitely like, you can tell the lower budget, the goofiness, but still like the editing, the pacing, everything is a lot better, a lot more tight. I did love some of the transitions, such as the zoom in, crash, and fade to white at the end of the first death scene. I loved the scream when he goes over with the murder suicide. There's a few other ADR screams as well that are just really over the top, that are really goofy and funny. When Vincent Price first reveals himself as the constable in the first opening scene, I just felt so satisfied. I was like, no, like I fuck with this. This is great. This is so good. Price is just absolutely fantastic, though. I loved the critics and all the different characters. They were entertaining. I agree with what you said about the comedy, Noah. Well timed. I wrote down here my favorite joke, which was after all the critics find out that their friend is dead, the first one, instead of being like super sad or super worried, you just get at last a headline instead of a byline because his death is in the paper. Thought that was savage and absolutely great.
Journalism joke.
I also enjoyed, but he is supposed to be one of the mourners when they find out that the second critic is dead.
Yeah, fantastic.
The critic with
No
the
one
dog
realizes it.
is a whole fucking mood. With the two dogs, he's very enjoyable. The funniest. Oh, sorry. First, I want to say the costumes and prosthetics for the time period and the budget are fantastic. I believe as well, especially with the costumes, like really, really great. And the guy with the Vincent Price mask when he's driving the car to distract the cops, really, really great. I found it very funny when Vincent Price comes out after doing the massage and is like, "Oh, he's in there murdering his wife," and the police officer just very calmly goes, "Oh, thank you, sir," and calmly walks away. It's like that's
totally,
how we
man.
respond to murder.
That was like the most B movie part of it all.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely.
The police car scene where they all just drive into each other and can't figure out what they're doing was, I don't know why that's there, but I enjoyed that. But the thing I want to talk about the most, and that I really want to hear Adam go more in depth on, because I saw Adam allude to it in his Letterboxd review, is Vincent Price's disguise as Butch. No reaction? No reaction whatsoever?
I mean, well, it's just last time. How do I even put this? This isn't a competition, but Friedrich Nietzsche once said that every single human interaction is a competition of sorts. And in that context, today's Ubermensch is Noah Shepherd. In the same way that last time we had, what was the really good one last time?
Kill Squad, you guys really
Kill
like?
Squad.
Kill
Yes.
Squad.
One last time.
The winner
Yeah,
this
you won
time
last time.
is Noah Shepherd because Vincent Price just annihilates in this movie. And just when you're wrapping your head around all of these performances, appreciating the surprising nuance that he brings to a myriad of Shakespearean figures, when you're there and you're the B movie schlock of it all, when you go in with that sort of like is gone and you're like locked in, it shatters in the best way possible when he shows up as this queer, and it's just he as a performer, he doesn't have any pretension, because even though he brings so much dignity to it, he must have been having fun limp wristing his way through this what is he, a hairstylist?
Yes. Adam,
God.
can I tell you a piece of behind the scenes information about this scene that's going to make it even better for you?
Please.
Okay, so when he's the hairstylist and he's doing Miss Moon's hair, he was having a secret affair and cheating on his wife with the actress that plays Mrs. Moon at that time.
Wow.
You can feel it, you know?
There's some chemistry.
That's insane. I mean, I'll use this opportunity to say my bit, because I don't really have much to say about it that hasn't already been said, because it is just surprisingly good. And, you know, it definitely is a B movie. We're not into Jennifer's Body territory.
It's your life, Joe.
I know,
sorry?
right?
That's gonna be the benchmark for the rest of Joe's life.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Jennifer's
Sorry,
Body,
Joe.
above or
I don't
below?
mean to belabor that. All I'll say though is that I did research on the cast, and you know how Vincent Price had like that squad of hobos?
Yeah.
One of them, you guys know, I don't know how much Star Wars you guys are into, but do you
I like
know
Star
that,
Wars.
okay, do you know Jabba the Hutt's original human form in episode 4, the deleted scene when Jabba the Hutt is just a big fat guy?
Yep.
Yeah, so one of those hobos is big fat
Jabba-
OG 1977 Jabba the Hutt.
That's
OG
hilarious.
OG
That's a
Jabba the
real
Hutt, you
deep
will
cut.
always be famous.
Yeah, he's among. It's kind of funny, but also a little like embarrassing. I mean, it's not like that Jabba performance was seen or lauded by anyone, but it's just funny that in this he's just an unnamed homeless lackey, And by the way, the resourcefulness of Vincent Price's character to assemble
So
all
good.
of these these fantastic murder set pieces. I love murder set pieces. I love Saw. I love when someone gets brought into some crazy convoluted shit that mauls them ferociously and is poetic to the wretched life they lived. I love it. And it came together in a way that actually had like some artistic resonance. What the hell?
That's the wild part, is that like every in universe and as a viewer watching the movie, like Vincent Price's character is an artist who interprets the text in an artistic way, and then the movie shows that in an artistic way.
Yeah, and it's applied intelligently. And a lot of the time with these sorts of horror movies, when it's a lineup of people getting killed, when you've got your fodder, this is some of the best fodder I've ever seen. That gay critic with the dogs was me. I
did think of you, Adam. I won't lie. I did think of you, but I didn't want to just be like, Adam thought of you. But when I saw the guy with like his dogs and everything, I thought of Methuselah.
Yeah, like all of the critics were surprisingly well developed, but it wasn't just to have like characters that you kind of cared about and kind of wanted to see die. It factored well into their deaths. Like, wow, I can't believe that we're gonna go from Devil's Story, which is like the most childish, poorly assembled piece of shit, talk about this thing, and then go on to Governor Gabby, which is also the most childish piece of shit.
I was gonna say, it's not fair to just bring that up without bringing up.
No, like, you've got a movie made by like perverted lunatics. You've got a movie made by amateurs. You've got a movie made by genuine artists, and you've got a movie made by Governor Gabby. Not to jump the gun.
I was gonna say though,
I swear to God, I'm almost done my dinner. This is the last thing I have to eat.
We weren't capturing any of it on camera.
I didn't even know you were eating, but that's fantastic.
Now we've called that out.
Leave it in.
Well, it depends on where the cuts are automatic.
Just don't get anything sticky in your hair. Then we have to cut it.
Well, now that's in there now. That's
Mike, anything to add about Theater of Blood?
A few random notes. Obviously liked it. Like the only note that I really have that I've been like sitting on is from the opening scene, and I just have a note that says, this was from like 2 months ago when we first planned all of this. It was like, so Vincent Price is just jealous, and he's using homeless people as a weapon against people who didn't like his acting. I respect that. Possible class uprising, possible Christ figure.
I didn't consider that.
Before their whole revenge plot, like that was just the first kill. I'm like,
maybe
Christ allegory.
I love those hobos.
The plot twist with
great.
daughter too is the rocker. Like I was like, oh, we're not going to resolve who this rocker is. He's just there randomly. And then I did not see that coming. I was pleasantly surprised by that.
One of my notes is I'm calling it 20 minutes in when they first show him. That's the daughter.
Oh.
Two types of people. Yeah.
Also, fuck him for naming his daughter Edwina.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
That's coming from somebody whose name is technically Michael Jr. It's a dick move. Mm-hmm. I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything's been said. I said it at some point. Vincent Price is just like eating every scene he's in.
Absolutely.
But in like a very good way. Like he was having so much fun for this shit, like the whole time. Obviously, he really enjoyed doing all of it. All of the characters were like, even like some of the homeless people who we didn't really like meet the homeless people, but it was like it felt all fleshed out. Mm-hmm. Like all the critics were very like good, nuanced enough, not just like evil assholes. They all had like distinct personalities. How fucking easy must it have been to write this movie? Like half of it is just Shakespeare.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's not like they're just throwing it in.
I know.
It is like
Yeah.
incorporated meaningfully.
That's
not
what
to
I
jump to the defense or anything.
No, I did absolutely to defend it. I was going to follow it up with saying, like,
Yeah.
it might have been easy to just write the lines once you had them, but it definitely seems like it took like, a lot of time to just like figure
Apply.
out,
Planning
like,
and creativity is
where
so
am I
great.
gonna slide it in, you know?
Can we consider for a moment that we're all nuts? That in this enterprise,
Where's this going?
we have endured so much bullshit, so many atrocious movies, and that Theater of Blood is actually just like okay.
Good movie.
What if it's actually not that good, and we expect
That was my thought
more
watching
devil
it.
stories.
I watched this first. It was this, Governor Gabby, sweet movie, month off, double straight.
Yeah, I also watched Theater of Blood first, and what was the last movie I'd watched before that? Maybe Boogie Nights. So like another
Okay.
good movie. Yeah, this one holds up. I think it's genuinely a good movie. It's probably not a great movie.
It's just here's the thing. We're just heaping praise upon it. And at the
We
time it
certainly
was released, it was considered hammy schlock. I think
Absolutely.
that while it's very effective for what it tries, we need to appreciate also that it's like the king of crap mountain. It is a B movie. It is schlock, it is slop, it is kind of pretentious, but like this is the best that it gets without being so bad it's good.
Agreed. I think the biggest thing about I think this movie probably aged better than with there's a couple things. Shylock never ages well. There's
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, we talked about Othello, but I think the biggest thing about this movie is that it leans into being campy, so it can be appreciated as effective camp. Like I think one thing that even just like today we appreciate camp a lot more than it was. So I think that the hammy schlock comes from a place that's so genuine. Like you can tell that Vincent Price loves that he's doing this and is putting so much effort into it. So I think the hammy schlock comes from a spot that's a spot of passion, and I think that's what makes it. That's what makes me overlook some of the things that objectively aren't that great. There are definitely some rough moments,
like that apathetic cop.
Exactly.
The thing though is that like with Vincent Price, and we'll end it soon. This movie excited me. The thing is that any other Vincent Price feels like just 1/8 of what this movie gives. It's just it keeps on giving, It
uses him to his full extent,
and it's wonderful that it exists, and I'm sad that it's not as recognized as some of his other works. Like it's kind of a hidden gem.
Absolutely. I was very surprised after I picked it. Which I'm sorry guys, I could have been setting you up for I don't know, sweet movie.
You guys want some fun facts about this one?
Yeah.
All right. This is Price's favorite of all his films, as Noah said. It's all shot on location, no sound stages. The fire at the very end actually got out of hand, and the fire department had to come. They burned that place. As I mentioned, he was having an affair with the actress who played Miss Moon. Noah, when we were talking about this, you and I privately, you mentioned you want to adapt this to the stage.
And I was very angry when I saw these notes.
Noah, in 2005, this film was adapted to the stage in London. It has a stage adaptation.
20 years too late.
The production used 6 gallons of stage blood for this movie.
That's insane. What theater will let them do that? What poor tech had to sweep that up?
How much to be in the splash zone?
Sorry. I meant the production of the movie, not the stage production, just for clarification.
Okay.
The production of the movie used 6 gallons, not the stage production. That would be they'd be literally drowning people in the front row in fucking stage blood.
So we redo it, we remaster it, we put it back out in theaters. This time in 4D. Like,
okay.
You know, like amusement park theaters, like
21st
You
Century
get
Cinema
to eat the
presents
dogs.
Guys,
Theater of Blood and 4D.
who do we think the modern actor is who can fill in for Vincent Price?
Well, I mean, Mike's offering himself.
I think James McAvoy.
That's a good shout.
That's a good pitch.
Not to like try to piggyback off of Split, but I think that just for people that have range.
Ooh, you know what? Off the back of that, not 1-to-1, but you'll see my train of thought here. Ian McKellen.
He old,
but he could do it. He's young at heart.
He's still on the stage to this day.
Neil Breen.
hell yeah. I want the critics to be like extremely surprised every time when it's just like, it's the actor I lambasted.
Oh, wait. I know exactly who the real choice for this is.
Who is it?
Nicolas Cage.
There's such a range of emotions there. Like, I was intrigued. You were pissed. Joe just laughed.
I think it's got to be Nicolas
No, because
Cage.
you know
Have
what?
you not seen Face Off?
This also just makes me think of the fucking Community episode. Is Nick Cage good or bad? Like, based upon everyone's emotions here. Like,
I guess it would probably just be based on what we saw Nicolas Cage in most recently. I mean,
for me,
What was he in most recently?
Long Legs.
yeah, and that's why
The reason I say Nicolas Cage is because I don't know if there's an actor right now working who embraces hammy like Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Like the Hail Satan scene in Long Legs? Like,
I haven't seen Long Legs, but
I'm appealing.
Don't watch Long Legs.
Watch Long Legs.
Long Legs.
Enjoy it. Put it in your brain.
Long Legs.
Speaking of all this Vincent Price talk, I want to go on one quick side tangent and then we're going to move on. I want to know, what was your guys' first introduction to Vincent Price? Like, what's the first Vincent Price thing you saw? Because I bet you anything mine is not what yours is.
Michael Jackson Thriller.
Exactly, Mike.
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Okay. My first introduction to Vincent Price was as a kid watching the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Does anybody know what the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is?
Terrible one where Shaggy has a red shirt.
Yes, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo was a rebrand after the success of Ghostbusters. Hanna-Barbera tried to make Scooby-Doo supernatural and dark and took Scooby, Scrappy, Shaggy, and Daphne, introduced them to a kid con man named Flim Flam. They found this chest of demons that they opened up and released demons into the real world. And Vincent Price voiced a warlock parody version of himself called Vincent Van Ghoul, who was the team's mentor.
I fucking remember all of this.
Yeah.
You just
Price,
fucking like jammed it into my
never
brain.
said no to anything.
Yeah.
1 second.
If you offered Vincent Price $17 and a bag of grapes, he'd be in your fucking movie show.
Anyways, that Scooby-Doo show was so bad that not only did it get canceled after 13 episodes and only did 12 of the 13 ghosts, it also caused no new Scooby-Doo to be on the air on Saturday morning for almost a decade.
Yeah, and they deserved it.
So what
Because the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is like, obviously normally Scooby-Doo is rough, but like, wow.
They needed simple plan to bring. They needed simple plan to drag them out of it.
The fact that any Scooby-Doo came after that shit is a miracle.
Well, they were trying to get rid of Fred and Velma because they didn't think Fred and Velma belonged in being main cast anymore. Like, that was their big thing, was that it was going to be Scrappy was going to be a part of the cast. And
TV has really changed, because back then, instead of like giving someone some new personality traits, try to like develop them, it's just like, cut that shit. Who likes Fred?
Fred's also the best part of every
We should vote on whether or not this person should die. Like, that is like what they did every time.
They didn't realize that back in the day, so many people wanted to have sex with Velma, but without the internet, how would you know?
How would you know?
Noah, do you remember in college when we sat in your apartment and watched Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island?
Absolutely.
And we were just dying at the
genuinely like that
mystery
movie.
machine.
I don't remember that, and I'm a little bit hurt.
It was second year, Mike. You weren't there. That's why.
So then you should have called me
Okay.
I didn't
we
have a
called you
job.
a bunch to hang out in second year. You never came.
because
He had a
I
job.
finally got a job after being
Mike
broke
was a
as
busy
fuck.
boy.
Oh, excuse me.
It's like 3 friends and just some weirdo that gets brought onto the show. I swear to God.
I like you. I swear to God.
We all
you.
love you, Adam.
Aw,
We
Um,
do. We do.
but-
it's all
But
good.
yeah, no, but that was really funny. We were just like talking about it, like walking out of class one day, and then we went to Noah's apartment. And I'm like, I found a stream, and Noah's like, put that shit up.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great.
So
It was great.
is Return to Zombie Island the one where the zombies turn out to be real?
It's
No,
Yeah.
a
sequel to
follow-up
that.
to
It's
that.
a sequel to
It's
that.
a modern sequel
There's
to
a
that one.
sequel?
And
There's
it's
a
actually pretty
sequel.
good.
There's also a sequel to
What?
13 Ghosts. It's called the 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo. They resolved 13 Ghosts.
Oh, I thought you
Like,
meant like that
30
shitty
years later.
movie with.
You trigger me every time you mention 13 Ghosts. We're trying to talk about quality
Okay,
Scooby-Doo
yeah.
content.
Zombie Island,
like,
one of the best
"Man,
animated
13
Scooby-Doo
Ghosts!"
movies. Okay, Zombie Island, one of the best Scooby-Doo movies,
Yes.
did get a sequel in 2018 or 19 called Return to Zombie Island.
Is it
It's
good?
a lot
Go
of fun.
back.
It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed
Fred,
it.
yeah, Fred is
Fred's
like in
hilarious.
love with the mystery machine, and there's this whole bit because he had to sell it for money that he'll never get it back, and he misses her and everything. And then there's like the mystery machine is like haunting Fred, and it's
fantastic.
a whole
It's
thing.
really
Yeah,
good. It's a fun Scooby-Doo movie.
Mhm.
I'll check that out.
Watch Return to Zombie Island. Yeah,
Sometimes
Good
these
90
podcast
minutes.
episodes are kind of hard because it feels like you're hearing about a bunch of movies and you want to like watch 10 of them, but you don't retain them all. If there's
Yeah.
one movie I watch that's been discussed here today that I haven't seen already, I gotta see that.
Scooby-Doo Return to
Absolutely.
Zombie Island.
I have a lot of love for the Zombie Island movie. It's
Zombie Island and Cyber Chase. Fuck, and
Yeah.
Legend of the Vampire.
Cyber Chase is shit, but
Or do
Is
the
it-
Rudy Ray Moore 4-movie pack.
We all know Noah loves Witch's
Rudy Ray
Ghost.
Moore.
Yeah, which is Ghost, man. Hex Girls.
Rudy Ray Moore.
They're also in Legend of the Vampire, though. to
Yeah,
be
they
fair.
are. They are. Yeah, but I mean the origin.
I think that we've turned on to Scooby-Doo because everyone's shitting themselves about our next
Oh,
selection.
no,
Let's do it.
I am
And
so
I
excited
hope-
to talk about Governor Gabby.
Let's do
I
it.
really
Alrighty.
hope that there isn't a certain family that comes after this podcast for discussing Governor Gabby, but you can go ahead, Joe.
Well,
We are not the first podcast to discuss Governor Gabby. I'm going to get into all of this.
Thanks,
So-
Seth Rogen.
No, not okay. Seth Rogen, but also not Seth Rogen. Allow me to explain. Governor Gabby is a movie about a girl in college
named
who
Gabby.
is named Gabby, who is a baker, who is elected governor after her friend who works for a congressman who has like 3 different titles throughout the movie, puts her name on the ballot, and she is elected governor of the motherfucking state of California. Her name is put on the ballot as a joke without her knowing, and she is elected governor of the state of California. And after being thrusted into her position, she tries to resign, but is told she can't for 3 months. However, that's going to be thrown out the window by the end of this film for no explanation whatsoever. She is forced to be governor. There is a congressman / deputy governor / lieutenant governor. Those are all of his 3 titles he's given, who is trying to get her to resign though, so he can take control for this actual bigger, badder congressman that he's working for that we're only introduced to in the last 20 minutes of the film.
Love him.
So she is attempting to try and just make things better with what she sees with cutting budgets and giving back to the people and giving her salary away. She kind of starts this little flirtatious thing with her aide, but it's not really going to go anywhere. There are multiple scenes that are pointless. For example, when they wrestle in blankets, when they try to move a dresser. She has a friend named Stoner who's going to become a
Stoney.
chef and
He's the best character.
accidentally roofie an entire barbecue party. There's so much to talk about in this movie, and there's a whole B plot about a car that won't work. Am I
Joe.
missing anything?
Joe, I would
Yeah.
like to just run down my notes if that's okay, and you can kind of imagine where I am
Yeah,
at
go ahead.
each
No,
point of
I
these
mean,
notes.
I'll do my notes last because this was my pick, and I'll give
Yeah.
my backstory on this. So go ahead, Noah. You
This
start.
holds a very dear spot in your heart. I know this. So this is the first note I have. Great ADR already.
The entire movie is
Um,
awful ADR, worse than Kill Squad.
I have this is lit like a corporate training video.
Stop.
I love
Now-
that note. That's amazing.
Tidy 85 minutes. We'll give it credit. Tidy 85. I had big student film to display skills learned in class energy.
Yep.
The
Adore clock wipe.
Yeah, adore Josh's first scene. But like even about the film thing where they would like shot of someone's face, shot of their hands, reverse shot, reverse shot. Very uninspired, strict.
Formulaic.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Mark Punga got us to shoot this.
Shout out Mark Punga.
Mark Punga. Then I also have there. Maybe the actors should have done a few more like line throughs to really nail them down before they said them, because I feel like they were kind of discovering them halfway through.
Come on, Noah. They only had an afternoon to make this.
Now here's a question I have, because I'm actually not sure.
Yes, I think Stoner also plays Richard.
Yes, okay. Is the whole thing ADR, or is it a bad sync?
No,
Because
it's ADR.
there's some
It's confirmed
Gabby
ADR.
drunk.
Gabby might be drunk.
The whole thing is ADR except for one line from the yoga instructor on the beach.
It's fantastic.
Everything else is
Oh
ADR.
my God.
I like that he gets a text to go undercover. Feel like that should have been an in-person meeting. Could really use some more character development for Gabby.
And then like nothing becomes really that undercover.
I do have this, and this might be a controversial opinion. I will give them credit. Gabby is the most interesting actor in the movie. Not the best. Not the best.
I think
The most interesting
all
actor.
around Stoney.
Glad Gabby's fighting back against car culture. Everything is very long. Like nothing really seems to escalate. I found with a lot of movies of this quality that they're fun for 20 minutes, then they keep going. Personal chef making fresh fancy food.
Whoa, Noah. Is this one of those movies?
I think
Did
this
you
movie
stop having fun after 20 minutes? Because
I think I did. I think it got too long.
Yeah, no, it's painful to watch. It's hard.
Really, the movie that was filmed in like a series of hotel rooms and conference rooms that they rented for like an afternoon was bad.
This is a note I'm particularly proud of. A personal chef making fresh, fancy food for a senator. You tell me Chuck Schumer's never had Arby's. Boy, thanks, Mike. Boy, that was a rushed climax, eh? Or not at all. I don't know anymore.
Like all happens in the last 10 minutes.
I don't think she can just appoint Jules. Also, how would you enforce the all promises are public law? Also, why am I still writing notes? What the fuck? Honestly, I think I'm done. All right, you guys.
Mike, you want to go?
I mean, yeah. Like he said, it's all nothing. Like a lot of nothing. A lot of hotel rooms, a lot of conference rooms.
Working
like
out.
Working out. The scene where they're like having their like the deputy fucking governor or whatever, it like is having a secret meeting and he's like doing backroom dealings. Like they're sitting in like the fucking lobby of the hotel.
Yeah.
Like it's like incredibly obvious that this is all in a hotel. At some point I wrote down like this was worse than like some YouTube videos that I've seen or that I saw in 2017 when this came out. There were some videos on YouTube better than this, like production wise, at the very least.
Oh yeah.
Like there's scenes where they just like pull up to a house, they're like, that's your house. But you can't have it right now.
Yeah. You can tell that they could not film at the Capitol or in that mansion.
All of it just passed through. Like, I don't know if there was day for night. I feel like I could just be like imagining that because that's in every shitty movie, but I know for a fact that they were doing digital fucking zooms. And that's my favorite thing.
Oh,
we're just like,
I hate the
I love a digital zoom. I love day for night if that's there.
You can tell they were covering stuff with the digital zooms too. Like they didn't have contextual reasons for doing something, and clearly another performer was just like picking their nose.
I also love like there's just like so little thought into production design. Like instead of having like the seal of California or the governor, there's just a cue card taped onto the
Governor of
podium that
California.
says governor of California or office of the governor or something like that. Like it's such.
One of my favorite things is like so much stock footage, stock footage, and every single news actor was from Fiverr.
Yeah.
And the reason I can say that for certain is one of those anchors is voiceover Pete from YouTube. He does Fiverr shit. You may have seen his videos where he was like, "Epic Fortnite gamer here. Send fucking somebody's trapped in Twisted Towers. Send me your parents' credit card information and he'll escape." That guy's in this movie pretending to be an anchor, and I can't look at him and not hear him say "Lima balls." So that doesn't like bode well for anything.
That's weird.
How does she speak German?
Yes, the
That
German
is
scene. Oh my
wild.
god!
She's a savant, apparently.
And then they're just like she can understand him. Oh,
And
But then they all speak German.
yeah,
so-
except for the one guy who like almost like set this up to try to embarrass her and then embarrassed himself. I also feel like somebody said this about, I think, Kill Squad when we watched it last, where it was like, if we didn't have to like pay rent or anything like that, we could make this movie.
Absolutely.
I thought that about Governor Gabby,
guys, we can pay rent and make this movie.
Yeah,
Which
we
is
can
why-
do a lot better than this, I think.
which is why I'm so excited to announce that me and Joe have actually partnered together to buy the film rights for this movie. We're both quitting our jobs, and we're going to be dedicating the next year plus of our lives to doing this story justice.
Mike, I've
Because
actually
it
written a
deserves it.
screenplay I'm trying to get made. You want to help make that? You can come on board, but we're not remaking Governor
So the
Gabby.
link to our Patreon is on 21stcenturycinema.com.
I'm in, buddy.
Link in
I'm
the
in.
description down below. I'm done.
Adam, go ahead.
I
Oh,
made my
yeah,
pitch.
Hello. How can I follow that up, Mike? I am not a firm believer in notes. I watch a movie, I write a angry Letterboxd review.
I would
And,
love to read your Letterboxd review. I would love if we could read it on the air, Adam, because it's
Do you
amazing.
want me to read it out?
I would love for you to read it out.
I
It is.
Yeah,
I will
story
say
review
though,
is
even though I
amazing.
don't write notes, the one line from this movie has really stuck with me, and it is, "One foot in the grave, the other on a banana peel."
That's in my notes.
Okay, I'm glad that
Just-
resonated with all of us.
Yes. Yeah, she's like, yes, I've heard the saying.
I mean, I had
Also, Gabby's catchphrases are just like her wowzas and her like I can't remember them, but they're so absurd.
yeah. See, okay, I wasn't so sure about like tearing into this movie because I'm like, okay, this is a kid whose family made like a shitty movie for her as like a birthday gift. This is like she's saying she's in college, but she's clearly like 16.
Adam, they've made like 5 movies like this family.
yeah,
they are serious
but
about
then I
their
looked
career.
into it, and she was like 22 when they made it, so gloves are
I
off.
know,
Do
I
you
know
want
this
me-
was just
do you
like
want me to
random
read-
trash like production. I didn't know this was like a Nepo farm.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, look,
Mike,
if you look at the
wait.
credits. Didn't you watch the credits? It's all the same last name.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was kind of just like getting really excited because I thought there was gonna be a post-credit scene to tease like the sequel, and I was just trying to calm myself down.
We're gonna get
Um,
into that, like the plans for the sequels and stuff. Like
Well, I already got into the plan for the sequel, Joe.
Yeah, Mike's
Gotta
doing
make the first one first, buddy. Like,
President Gabby, like they don't even really communicate at the end of the movie. It's like you have a call from the vice president, but like
oh my god.
this bitch, she can't scream. Who acts in something and instead of screaming goes, "Ah."
she didn't want to be too loud.
Yeah,
Like
like
the neighbors.
Maybe they did the ADR in one of the hotel rooms.
do you want do you want
Probably.
me to read any of my words, Joe? Or
I'd love for you to just read your review or excerpts of your review, whatever you find.
it's long as hell because this
Oh, we
this
know.
this movie was special. Family Vanity Project. I'll read like the first 2 paragraphs. I wrote fucking awful, just one of the worst things I've ever seen. There's nothing quite like a shitty family vanity project, and this one rivals the likes of the infamously unwatchable Canyon Trail or even Frankenstein Complex. Being mercifully short is the only positive thing that can be said about Governor Gabby. Those 85 minutes, though, feel like an orthodontist appointment. The production is beyond shoddy, the audio is ear rape, the writing is vacuous, and the acting is bong water, and nobody involved seems to give a fuck. It has a very kiddie presentation, despite having a character who everyone jokingly refers to as Balls, and another called Stoner, and a pot brownie mishap at a barbecue sequence. Not roofie. I don't know who this movie was made for outside of the Neibauers. Why would they even let something like this get released? If I made a piece of shit feature-length movie with all my family members, I'd screen it for them and then have it as a keepsake, not air it on TV and get it briefly available on Amazon. The Neibauers, obviously humiliated by the whole thing, have taken drastic lengths to erase it. But my flamboyant friend found a dirty pop-up laden link so I could endure it in all its glory. There's more, but I think that just about covers it.
There's one comment on this review. It's from me, and it just says, "I can't believe I am reduced to being nothing more than flamboyant friend."
Well, haven't you read my my review for
Jennifer's Body?
Jennifer's Body.
You call them allegedly straight.
Yes. Yes.
Fucking married,
And the
Adam.
allegedly straight one.
But you know, Governor
Yeah,
Gabby,
married guys never turn out to be gay.
Not once.
thank you, Noah. Governor Gabby was really
Thanks, Noah.
special. In the breadth of bad movies, Governor Gabby, it really holds its own. It sticks with you because we've all seen Mary Sue's, but like, my God, Gabby, she is so charitable. She is so doting. She spends time with old people and, I don't know, crackheads, homeless people. Like, it's just, I would be so embarrassed if this, like, the secondhand embarrassment from Governor Gabby, like the adults, it's crazy. But I got to add this list to one of my Letterboxd lists, actually. I got to add this movie to one of my Letterboxd lists, which is movies which feature a character whose name is nothing but the word Brown. There's a character
That
in
is
this
true.
movie.
Brown.
His name is Brown, and it's one of 3 movies I've seen with a character whose name is nothing but Brown. Not Mr. Brown, not Donald Brown. They call him just fucking Brown.
Can I ask a question that might give me a little bit of insight on something I was wondering? How much of the family is involved in the production, like acting wise? Is it just Gabby?
At least like 7 of them.
Because there's a lot of like you know what? I guess I could just blame it all on the family if they wrote any of it, or how much of it they wrote, because it's like fucking incompetent, like at a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
Like the car that was brought up of like their car is always broken, and like grandma's trying to fix it. Is it like the acting there is like she has her hat turned around backwards that she never wears, but all of a sudden she's wearing a backwards hat, and I'm just like, is that you just being like, that's what mechanics do, right? They wear backwards hats. They go into the car.
A Neibauer wrote it. Neibauer directed it. Neibauer's starring it. Like, it's
So they don't know what poor people do.
no. They had like, what? Do we have a projected budget, Joe?
No, I don't have. If you can find one, go for it. I wasn't able to find a projected budget. There's so little on this movie. It's been
It's true. Like, it's really enigmatic. And even the actress changed her name, like on IMDb and everything. Do we, as film enjoyers, do we have guesses for the budget? I think it cost $15,000 to make.
I think that's generous.
I don't know. Like, it is a movie that exists.
Yeah, the cameras aren't super low quality. Like they're, it's a camera that you would rent.
Like, I didn't understand all of the YouTuber stuff that was mentioned, but like they hired real people to be like the newscasters.
Fiverr is like a
Fiverr.
$5 bill. You send it's pre-made, like people post their sort of like ads of like types of videos they'll make for
It
you.
feels like Cameo.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cameo, but really cheap. So I think PewDiePie was really big into it, where he would just he would just pay kids in less developed countries to just say PewDiePie. Yeah. So it's like stuff like that. It's like a low level cameo.
Maybe 15,000 is generous. What do you guys think then?
I think a lot of money was pissed away at this. I'm going 40.
I might
4D.
Again,
4-0.
4-0.
they saved a lot of money on extras with again, all of the news anchors are just people that they paid fucking minimal money to just read out the lines and nothing else on a green screen.
That's hilarious, by the way. That's
That's why you can also tell it's they clearly sent them just a green screen file with them reading the lines and
I
nothing
found
else.
the budget.
Because all of the shots are them clearly standing, but they put a desk in front of them, hero.
okay, Mike. What's your budget guess then?
I found it. Yeah. Okay.
No,
So
don't say Joe.
I just want to recount. You say 50. Noah says
no 15.
You say 15.
50. 50.
50. Noah.
I bet they
40.
put some money away.
40. 5,000 USD.
Good job.
Bro, I could double the production off my fucking savings right now. Why, Joe?
I can
we
afford
both don't
this.
even have to fucking quit our jobs at this rate.
Guys, we
I
can
don't even need
do
the
this.
Patreon. Take down the
Oh.
Patreon.
My God.
We can all throw in just an easy $1,000, and we've got our governor, our
We
premier
have
Joe.
the cast right here.
Can we do a shot-for-shot remake?
Mike, are you gonna be
I-
stoner?
Can I please be
I feel
brown?
like I have more depth and nuance than that, but I can do that.
Well, I'm pretty sure that guy is playing two parts. I'm pretty sure he's also playing Richard, so you can
I'll
play
play
a third part.
Gabby. I'll play whoever the fuck you want as long as I can play Gabby.
Okay, we gotta get Noah Schaefer in here to be that aide. That
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Casting Noah Schaefer as the aide. Let me dive into my thoughts and then I'll explain some more background and stuff on this movie.
$4,000.
That's insane.
$5,000
For
USD.
$5,000 though, can we appreciate that this stupid family? Sorry, Joe. They did make something.
Something.
I mean, it's pretty good value for $5,000.
Like I'm surprised.
So this was my second time. I did rewatch it. The first time I watched this movie was back in 2019. And so I did rewatch this, but I rewatched this on 2x speed. And can I just say, you do not miss anything, and it is a million times more enjoyable to watch
I
this.
was putting my hand on my face because I was like, "Fuck! Why didn't I think of that?"
Yeah,
that's a good
I want to see
idea.
that barbecue scene in 2x speed.
guys, it doesn't change anything because of how slow they talk and move in this movie.
Gabby's
It's
drunk.
so much easier to watch. I recommend going back and rewatching this in 2x speed. You'll be done in 40 minutes. And it's so much more enjoyable.
Oh,
But yeah, the scene where she has all the blankets fall on her and she's just wrestling in it, and then she gets up and then falls back down and pulls the blanket over her like she's getting caught in it. Iconic.
I thought she was like a kid.
Her grandma not being able to fix her car was apparently the state's problem, so that's why she took on the governor role. Loved that connection there. Moving the dresser scene is 2 minutes long. It is 2 minutes of that scene of them trying to move this dresser where they start pushing it from either end and then they just slightly nudge it in front of the window. But what I also really loved was that he goes to take off his jacket, and I want to know why the aide, what issue he had that we need a clock wipe to him starting to take off the jacket to him putting the jacket down. Why is that? And like, why is it just such an absurd clock wipe? There's also some absurd fades randomly in this movie as well too, but that one is the most jarring transition.
I think there's a lot of problems with the aide. He was clearly not happy to be there at all. Like
I think he had to audition.
They didn't set up the meet cute very well.
No.
Let me push this fucking shelf while we both push both sides of it.
I feel like Balls/Ballsy is like an accurate depiction of a government official in the U.S. Just completely incompetent, does not know what's happening at all.
This movie is a good depiction of the United States' political literacy, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's that shit that got Trump elected twice.
Yeah. And like, they obviously don't understand. The people who wrote this movie do not understand how the government works with just, she's elected, she's going to renounce, she appoints someone. Like, it's...
I'm giving it to my friend.
You gotta watch that movie and be like, wow, they need like a civics class or something.
Literally.
They don't know fucking anything other than like the person who runs the state is the governor.
Yeah.
And obviously car problem is state problem, no?
Yeah. Speaking of the car problem, so you guys remember in the second car scene where they're talking about like what the mechanic said, and they were like, "Oh, they need a special stethoscope for the car." Okay,
Yep.
I thought this was ridiculous, but for those that don't know, my brother is a mechanic, and so I called my brother today, like right before I signed on to this episode. I called my brother and I said to him, "I said I'm going to ask you something, and this might sound really absurd, and you might laugh at me, but I'm about to do a podcast episode." They said something in a movie, and I just need you to confirm for me that this is not a real thing. And I said, they said they use a stethoscope on the car. He's like a doctor uses? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, we do. We have things very similar to that they legitimately do. This is a real thing.
I'll be damned.
So they know about cars.
Thing.
Well, obviously, they have the hat backwards. They know what mechanics do.
And so and he sent me a link to it and everything. He said, this is all about the stethoscopes that mechanics use. He sent me all this fucking information.
Move it over. We can't see.
These red blocks. This is all about the stethoscope.
That's all text.
That's all text.
Close your phone and go into your
website.
photos.
And then,
private folder.
Yeah, he sent me links to them and everything too. So it's called a chassis ear. But this is a real thing. Chassis, whatever.
Chastity.
No, that was
Sweet movie.
That's how it opens.
I also want to point out from this movie too, I loved the cops, their costumes. The one guy's just in a button up. The other one's in a similar button up, but
they were dressed like waiters.
Okay.
And then when the cops are dancing high at the this movie.
Okay, it was $5,000. That's cool.
Would it have been more or less believable if what's more believable? Not having badges or having extremely obviously fake plastic ones from the dollar store?
I think the plastic obvious ones would have been better than that one guy, just the top button, it's undone. It looks like he's going to a club on Halloween
PSA
in a cop hat.
Shitty B independent movies. There are plain clothes cops. You don't have to get an awful Halloween costume. There are tons of cops that just dress like normal civilians. Get yourself a little badge prop and stop with whatever Governor Gabby did, which didn't even have them in the same.
Yeah.
You could have at least done the stupid wallet thing. You didn't even have to show me a badge. Just do the thing where it's and
that's it.
Special agent.
Yeah. The resolution and the last 10 minutes of this movie is just insane, where suddenly her friend loses her job and Stoner roofies people by accident, and then they're all just mad at her and it's her fault, so she appoints her friend and that makes it all better, and she goes back to baking but gets a call from the vice president and we cut to black.
Vice president?
It is an insane 10 minutes to end up this film, but I'm gonna pose before I go into the backstory.
Canonically, it's Pence.
Yeah.
Before I go into the backstory about this movie and my connection with this movie, I'm going to ask one question to the group here, and I want your honest answers. Do you think Meryl and the grandmother are together?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's grandma's special friend.
There was some chemistry. They own a farm upstate.
Both their husbands died.
I having worked a lot in the retirement industry, I know a lot of menopausal women, and they just kind of gravitate to each other, and we all love to presume LGBT status these days, but a lot of the time, and I'm sorry this is such a milquetoast answer, but just menopausal ladies just kick it like that. There's nothing to
Honestly,
it. Sorry. I know with the mechanic and everything, but she couldn't fix the issue. She was not a lesbian. Sorry.
I was just happy envisioning their farm upstate. They probably got a bunch of rabbits.
I also loved their dialogue where she would be like, and then I went to the she's like, oh, don't I know it? She's just eating the fucking cupcakes or brownies. Alrighty. So back in 2019, I was working with Adam. And Adam and I met as coworkers. And Adam, I don't know if you recall, but I told you one day that I was going to be going to a live taping of a podcast that I was a big fan of. Do you remember this conversation we had at all? No? Okay, that's fine. It's how I originally told you about Governor Gabby. But it's a podcast that we've mentioned on the show before. It's called How Did This Get Made? It's hosted by Paul Scheer, Jason Mantzoukas, and June Diane Raphael. And they do nothing but watch bad movies and examine how did these bad movies get made. And they did a live show in Toronto, and I bought tickets with my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend, and we went, and they had Governor Gabby. And so Governor Gabby gets announced as the show, so you watch it in advance. And so we are trying to find a stream. We can't find this movie anywhere. It's nowhere to be found. So How Did This Get Made works out some deal with the Nybars to get an unlisted link live for a week for anyone going to the show to watch. And we all were emailed a
That's
code.
insane that they managed that.
So we go, this is before the movie is scrubbed, don't forget.
Okay,
So we
fair.
watch it. We watch it at 1x speed. Absolutely painful. We are so annoyed and so mad. We go to the show, and immediately Jason Mantzoukas gets on stage and goes, "Nobody complain. You guys got a fucking great one." The backstory is that Seth Rogen found this movie high one night while channel surfing, and watched it on TV. This movie aired on TV, and he texted Paul Scheer and said, "You need to do Governor Gabby on the podcast." And so because they were in Canada and it was a special Canadian show, they chose Seth Rogen's pick of Governor Gabby, and we watched Governor Gabby. We learned a lot at this show. The whole audience was in agreement that Meryl and the grandmother are a lesbian couple. They constantly referred to the grandmother as the gypsy from Stars Hollow of California. Anybody gets the Gilmore Girls reference.
I don't think you say that word anymore.
No, the character's name is Gypsy.
It's a name.
Great show. First I get on the show. I finally fucking get here, and then you sink the whole thing.
But
What are we gonna do with all the Governor Gabby money, man?
But,
We're bankrolling this shit.
Governor Gabby was meant to be the first in an entire cinematic universe revolving around Gabby's character. But because so many people saw this movie because of How Did This Get Made, and it got such bad backlash, they've canceled the whole thing. They've scrubbed their identities. They've scrubbed their movies off the internet. This was on Prime Video for a period of time before they got it pulled.
Yeah.
And that is the story of Governor Gabby, and we will never see the sequel. I do believe, though, that it was announced somewhere. Like, you can find the title of like three Gabby sequel movies that were announced.
There's one more hope, and that's Mike Polak.
Polak resurrects the Gabby universe.
I think it's awesome, Joe,
but-
for such an exquisitely atrocious film that you were present for a very critical point in its history. Because
Adam, I haven't told you the best part.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
Oh.
I have a Governor Gabby sweater, guys, and it is in Ontario. I did not have it with me here, so I could not wear it, but I have a Governor Gabby sweater. It says Gabby 2020 on it with a cupcake, and it says at the bottom, "Make America Bake Again."
Yeah, man.
It would be hard to wear out. But
That's a tough look.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, so that's my relationship to Governor Gabby. I've wanted to talk about it on the pod for years. It was too niche though, and then we were doing B movies, couldn't find the link. I searched for 3 months after we did that podcast episode. I found the Governor Gabby link, and now we're here. You have all watched it. Adam, you did say earlier it lived up to the hype of what I kept saying about how awful it was.
Yeah, truly. I want so badly to have been a fly on the wall for the family meeting before, like, when the family meeting of the Nybauers that led to burying it, them congregating, listening to this podcast episode, you know, a cigarette is hanging out of the mouth of the guy that played, like, the original governor. Brown is there in tears. Gabby is away in the bathroom somewhere. Like, I wanted
Gabby's
to...
gone. She changed her identity.
I'm sorry?
She changed her identity. She's gone.
Yeah. I mean, her IMDb is a completely different name now. So it's an important lesson about how if you put something out there, people will find it. For better or for worse.
The live show, like, Spotify episode of Governor Gabby from How Did This Get Made has also been taken offline. However, there is an archived version on Spotify. If anyone wants the link, I will send it. It is an hour and a half of comedians breaking down Governor Gabby live in Toronto in 2019. And yeah, I recommend it. It is the show that I am at, and it is hilarious. It was a great time, a great breakdown, and
Bit of a humble brag, whatever.
Governor Gabby. That's Governor Gabby, guys, and that's also our show. All right, so here's the thing. Currently, the B Movies episode is sitting at, I'm just looking at rough numbers right now, but it's just over 500 streams in total across the board on all
That's pretty
platforms. So if we get 300 streams or more across all platforms, that includes YouTube audio, video, and our audio for our podcast, we'll do B Movies 3.
There you go.
He doesn't know how many times I'm going to watch those.
Yeah, we'll do B Movies 3 that way.
I'm so glad Among Us isn't some dickhole who's just like, oh, I'll put in the B movie with Jerry Seinfeld. Thanks for being better than that, everyone. I want to say thank you.
I tried to. I
agree.
spent too much time trying to get this going to ever fucking fumble the bag with that.
Thanks.
Somebody should go through the archives of our Instagram posts and just see on how many of them Mike has commented asking to be on the show.
I respond to like most of Joe's Instagram stories.
Yeah, asking to be on the show.
The literal like only time I can remember he responded to me that didn't have anything to do with this, like I immediately dropped the conversation. I was like, holy fuck, you actually fucking are talking to me on Instagram right now. I got a response. What's
Like,
work with this?
When it comes to it's insane that you had to struggle that much. In my experience, getting on this podcast is just a matter of like proximity to Joe for a certain amount of time. I'm pretty sure there's an equation.
Oh, I became a host.
I'm sorry?
That's how I became a host.
Straight up. Like, I'm pretty sure there's an equation you could make with just time spent in the vicinity of Joe. Joe's making the show
Sorry.
is over
Wrap it up.
expression.
No, I'm trying to count here. I went back. I have 17 messages from January 29th, 2020 of Mike just all the way up until November 14th, 2023 of Mike just replying to my stories. Some of my favorites are Whatever You Want, Big Boy. It's called the Short and Adorable section. Too bad you're girls with the realest thrill seeker I know, JDV. Art imitates life.
I remember
No,
Joe,
single
I wish
one
I
of
got
these
invited.
fucking ones.
Joe, I wish I got invited to Oscar parties. Joe, you're worth every penny. And then finally, I had shared a story and I had tagged my boss in it. And my boss, his name is named after a song. And Mike said, your friend has a song named after him. And I said, yeah, he's aware. And all it was is, fuck this. I'm just so happy you responded for once.
Wow. Joe, I didn't know you played so hard to get. Also, JDV is a terrible acronym
I
to have
know.
right now.
Now,
a
have now?
trouble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Sorry.
is.
Nice. That's
Joe.
crazy.
Man, your stock went because that was a pretty cool acronym before.
It
Yeah.
was. The one and only JDV has been my username since fucking I was 15.
The one and only
And now-
JDVVP.
You're not the only one, buddy.
Yeah. Anyways,
This has been delightful.
this has been an absolute blast. Whether or not we do B Movies 3, Adam and Mike, we will for sure have you guys back on again because it is a delight to have you both on. But also, Mike, you're now one appearance away from getting on the contributors section of the website. And I feel like you really want to make that happen.
from the contributors section. The
Sorry?
thing will I carry it above my head for the rest of my life. Be on my deathbed and it'll be like, one day.
No, Noah has also been pushing for years. Like we should put Mike on the, we should have Mike on the podcast. If you
I
go
was in
back
the
and
corner,
listen,
buddy.
there are multiple episodes of Noah being like, we should have Mike on the podcast. And I'm like, we're not having Mike on the podcast.
Can I plug a different podcast to attempt to get a free Patreon membership?
You're allowed to plug whatever you want here. So
Shout
Adam,
out
Mike, go
the
ahead.
State of the League podcast. Jack, Pablo, is this enough for a free $5 membership? Let me know.
Adam, anything you want to plug while you're here?
I am not a sellout. I don't have any socials. I am a private citizen
That's
who doesn't
literally a lie.
post anything
Only
anywhere.
ever
I have
communicate
no
to you.
online record. And
You mentioned your Letterboxd 3 times in this
shut
episode.
the fuck up. I am a private citizen who, independent of this podcast, does not exist outside of Kingston Town. So if
This
you're ever
really
in
makes it
town,
sound like you're on the run.
That's Kingston, Ontario, by the way.
well,
Not Jamaica.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's the less remarkable Kingston.
But yeah, join us next time, guys. We're going to be breaking down monkey movies in cinema, and we're also going to be covering our first ever short film in that episode. So check that one on out when it is available. Thank you so much for listening. And a reminder that 21st Century Cinema will be going back to monthly episodes this October. We're very excited about it. And in January 2026, season 6 will properly kick off.
You got some muck on your webcam.
Sorry?
You got some muck on your webcam. You keep
I think
going
it's just a
focus.
glare. See?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
A short film? Joe finally made his autobiography? End it.
Hey,
Thanks for watching.
End it.
Hey, oh.